This is a channel update for January of 2021. Come on back after the break. Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Shelf Board Game Reviews. This is a video channel all about the board games and the board game hobby, and this is a video that's going to be an update for what's going on with the channel, what you look forward from the future, and things I've been working on behind the scenes. 2020 was an extremely interesting year for all of us, and it was an interesting year especially for the hobby. Now, this is a hobby that we all love and enjoy, but it's definitely a hobby that's all about being with friends, which unfortunately COVID put a stake right through that heart because we had to start experiencing social distancing. I don't know about you, but I had to learn how to operate OBS software, Skype, and Zoom just to make sure I can still have fun with all my friends, because we haven't gotten around the same table since about March of 2020. And yeah, we all agree it's pretty darn lame, so we've all had to find different ways to enjoy this hobby, whether it's through virtual tabletops, whether it's using Skype or Zoom or any other tips or tricks we can do. We've all tried to figure out how to still enjoy this hobby. And while COVID was a terrible, terrible thing for the hobby, actually the hobby did some pretty darn interesting things in 2020. Now you go ahead and look at Kickstarter. Kickstarter had a phenomenal year, doing over $233 million just in the tabletop board gaming space. And actually the things that led the charge pretty much summarizes 2020 in a nutshell. The games that really led the charge were games that are either cooperative games, meaning you can play them solo, or they're games with lots of really cool miniatures, because we all have the secondary hobby when it comes to the board gaming industry. And that secondary hobby is, you know, painting these miniatures and painting them up and making them look pretty darn nice. I have a few of these games that I play that I enjoy, and I do on painting the miniatures. Blood Bowl is a game I enjoy quite a bit. I have all these teams I've been working slowly on painting, and it's been kind of nice in 2020. I have the time to sit down and start painting these miniatures. Now, I'm not the best painter in the world, but hey, I do okay, and I do tabletop quality, and I have fun with it, and I make sure they look good enough for me at least to see them on the table and have lots of fun with these games. Now, a lot of the games that did come out in 2020 did actually pretty darn good on the Kickstarter front. I mean, you look at Frosthaven, which did over $12 million. Cool Mini or Not had 2 games that are in the top 12 games for this industry. But if you look at all the games that came out in 2020, especially on Kickstarter, you see that we did a little bit of retail therapy, but it's basically the strong miniature games and all the games that you can play solo or cooperatively from 1 to 4 players. Now, you saw some games that came out that did multiple millions of dollars, and it's interesting to see how the games really just match what was going on with 2020. Lots of story-based games, lots of cooperative games, lots of games that really hit. They're all about having fun with a group of players around the table, or playing these games solo, meaning that you can enjoy these games just with yourself or with a spouse from 1 to 2 players. And that pretty much dominated the industry and is really, really darn apparent in 2020. There's also a lot of growth when it came to content creators. One of the channels I actually watch pretty routinely, and I definitely enjoy, saw about 8,000 extra subscribers they managed to gain over 2020. And kudos to them, congratulations to them. They put out a lot of content and everything, and it's some really good content, and a lot of people enjoy their channels, so they do really, really good. Myself, for my channel, last year I put out 67 brand new videos for the channel, focusing on board games, tutorials, how to play, reviews, and things along those lines. Also, I tried to launch a new video series, which unfortunately, thanks to COVID, didn't really go the way I wanted to. Basically, I was looking for a video series where I can play games with friends. Can't do that due to COVID. And I was also looking for a video series where I can just talk about the industry, which is something I think I may keep on doing. I may try to resurrect that very, very soon, but I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. At the same time, I'm also going to talk about a giveaway. So make sure you stick around just for that, because I'm going to talk about a giveaway and things that are still coming for the channel itself. At the end of November, I put up 2 brand new videos for Blood Bowl the game, and thanks to Games Workshop slightly making a mistake and shipping me the game early, I was able to get those 2 videos out before the board game actually even hit the retail market. And I was really, really hoping that those 2 videos would get a lot of views, and it was what I was really hoping for. Unfortunately, those videos didn't get the views I thought they were going to get. And especially when I compared the views on those videos compared to other videos brought out by other content creators, I just wasn't happy with the results of those views, and that's why in December you didn't see any more content from me, because I decided to go back to the drawing board. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do views really, really matter to me? Well, the honest bottom line here is it really does come down to financial things here. And I'm not trying to throw finances out there, but my channel is 100% self-funded. So basically everything I put towards the channel, from the camera equipment to the games, to the equipment I have to use, such as batteries, to the internet, everything like that has to come out of my own personal pocket. And trust me, I appreciate every single one of my Patreon supporters. Every single penny that comes in from Patreon goes to helping me cover my costs. But unfortunately, Patreon is not doing a lot to help me cover my costs. Plus, I also really much rely on YouTube Analytics, because YouTube Analytics helps me get a little bit of money to help me cover my costs. But again, when you combine those two things together, it's about $35 a month. Now, just to give you a really good example, next month, and I'll cover this in just a little bit, but next month I'm going to cover Everdell, which is going to be the basic game for Everdell, plus 3 of the expansions for Everdell. Now you head over to the Kickstarter for Everdell and you see just the personal out-of-pocket expenses I need to pay to cover the game of Everdell. I had to buy the base game. I had to buy 3 different expansions for it. So one of the expansions only costs, I think, $35. That's the bill fare, but the other 2 expansions actually cost quite a bit of money. So the total cost for me just to bring out that one game is approaching hundreds of dollars for me. So if I would only do one video next month, between YouTube and Patreon, I have $35 coming in, but I'm spending probably about 10 times as much of that going out of my pocket just to cover one game. So my goal is always to put out about 2 games a month. So next month I'm also going to cover Dungeon Alliance, which is a game that costs about $100. So just for 2 games right there, you see that my out-of-pocket expenses are just really up to here compared to my income I get from YouTube Analytics and also from my Patreon supporters. And again, I do appreciate every single one of you so much, but it really is starting to get really expensive for me to keep the channel going. Now, I know what you may be saying to yourself, well, what about review copies of games? Well, I know there are some channels out there that are extremely fortunate that do get review copies of games. I'm not that fortunate. I've been in this hobby, been doing this for close to 10 years now. I think my first videos, or my first reviews I ever did, was back in 2011. And in that time, I can probably count the amount of review copies I've received on 2 hands. And I am so happy that there are channels out there that do get the review copies for the games, because this is a very expensive thing to be a YouTuber, to put up content and constantly put out content. It gets really expensive, and I'm glad there are channels out there to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not that lucky, and I would really love to do things like bring out a full video series of the Monumental Edition of Clash of Cultures. Unfortunately, for me to do that, I'm going to wait for the game to appear over on Amazon. And I'm still scratching my head about what happened between Hack and Slash Games and myself. I emailed them about 2 months ago. Still haven't heard anything back from them. Again, don't know what's going on there, but I pretty much just said, oh well, don't know what's going on. I'm just going to move on there with that aspect also. And even just factoring in this, my personal out-of-pocket expenses, the fact that I don't get a lot of review copies of games, add in the fact I'm not even including the fact that I buy games that aren't good. There's been multiple times I purchased games that have been actually pretty darn terrible, and I'm not going to review them because I'm not going to spend the money, spend the time, put in all the effort just to tell you how much a game sucks. I mean, I can sit here and tell you how terrible that the Kingdom Hearts edition of Talisman is, tell you that the people who produced that game obviously did not do any playtesting for that game, tell you that the game is absolute garbage. I can tell you that there's broken cards or things that make absolutely no sense. It's obvious that they said, yeah, we're going to make a game that plays for up to 5 players, but you can't really play with 2 players because you have all these triumvirate cards in there that just don't work with 2 players. There's other broken things. There's things in there where you need 1 card out of an entire deck of cards just to make certain card combinations work. It was a terrible, terrible game, and whoever put that past the quality control needs to probably have a swift talking to. And you can look at games such as Villainous, which I think was really overrated. It was mainly an okay game. It was a good idea. Probably really good for people who don't play a lot of games or people who want simpler games, but it's basically one of those kind of games you can play a couple times and you're not going to play it again. And I'm not going to cover a review of the game, but that's just a couple example of games where I've thrown some money out for some games that you're never going to see the content for because it's just not worth my time to spend hours filming a video series just to tell you, hey, these games suck. So what did I do? I spent all of December doing some studying. I spent the month of December planning, figuring out what I can do to help the channel grow, help the channel evolve, and help this be a better channel. So basically, here is my plan for now, and I'm hoping this is going to work. And then maybe back in May, I'll go ahead and reevaluate things and see if I've had enough growth and see if some positive things have worked out of this. Starting in the month of January, which is right now when I'm filming this vlog, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the last 2 videos for Blood Bowl 2020, which is going to be my how to play the new version of the game. And it's also going to be a sample gameplay where I'm actually going to play a full game. And now I'm still kind of leery about making these really long videos because it does seem that when I do these really long gameplay videos, they don't get as many views. It seems a few times if I only do like 20 or 30 minutes of gameplay, that seems to be more popular. So I'm going to see if that comes to be the better thing. Well, figure out how that works. I actually prefer playing the entire game, Maybe we'll break down the video into chunks. We'll figure it out. We'll see where that goes from there. After I'm finished with Blood Bowl 2020, look for my top 51 board games of all time, the 2020 edition. Now, why am I calling it the 2020 edition? Because it's all of my favorite games up to the end of 2020. And I figured since it's 2021, it's probably a really good game to talk about all of my favorite games and what games I think are just absolute must-owns, why they are that way, and just tell you all my opinions on those games from there. Now, during my top 51 games of all time, look for a secret giveaway. And all of you who actually made it this far in this video are going to get an extra bonus because you're going to get part 1 of the requirements to go ahead and win this game. So part 1 of winning the game is knowing what the game is. That's going to be given away during the top 51 games of all time. And I'll give the rest of the instructions on how to win the game when we get to that point. Well, the game I am going to be giving away is a completely unopened copy of Deep State. This is fully unopened. This is a Kickstarter edition, which has the bonus cards and the bonus expansion. And I'm going to give this all away during the top 51 games of all time. Part 1 is knowing the game. Part 2, you got to watch the top 51 games of all time video series to see exactly what the second part requirement is to go ahead and win this game. I'll cover the shipping and I'll send it wherever it needs to go for you to get a copy of this game that is really darn awesome. And a little bit of spoiler, yes, it's in my top 51 games of all time. Starting in February, I'm going to start an actual cycle, and I'm going to stick to this cycle now, barring any kind of emergencies. What I'm going to do, starting with the month of February, and we're going to work through this all the way through the end of May, and hopefully this is going to pan out for me. But the first Monday of every single month, I'm going to do a vlog where I'm going to talk about various different things. Now, it's going to be a variety vlog where I may just talk about something that I'm grumpy about, or I may talk about something that's really cool, or something I've been working on, or various different projects. But basically, it's going to be about the board gaming hobby. Now, I have a couple different ideas and things I want to do. I may kind of make the first one a large variety where I'm going to do a whole bunch of little small segments, or I may just focus on one thing. You'll see when we get to that time. And if you have any ideas of things you'd like to see, leave the comments down, the YouTube comments down below. I'm always all about the interaction with my people who enjoy my channel and enjoy watching the channel itself. After that, every second and fourth Monday of every single month, look for 4 brand new videos for a different game. It's going to be the usual quick overview video, a tutorial video, a sample gameplay video. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the full gameplay. I really want to, but I'm just going to watch those YouTube analytics and see if that's the content all of you want to watch. And then finally, the 4th video is just going to be my review of that game. And like I said, I've been doing some practicing, some studying, and some research into what makes good review. So look at my format changing a little bit. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, leave the feedback down below because all your feedback helps the channel grow. It's what I really enjoy, and your feedback can help me improve the channel and make this a better channel that all of you can enjoy. And now let's go ahead and close this out. And this is where I am asking for a little bit of your help. You can help the channel grow also. If this is a channel that you enjoy and this is a channel you want to see stick around for a while, spread the word. If you see people talking about things over on Reddit asking for channels that you suggest or you enjoy or that you want to recommend the channel. If you see people making comments like that over on Board Game Geek, do the same thing. It's just a little simple thing as that can help the channel grow. Also think about supporting the channel over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/OTSBGR. Just $1 in the tip jar can really help me cover my costs, help the channel keep growing, help me cover my costs, and help me bring out more content for you so you can enjoy the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this video series and this channel. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the YouTube comments down below. I'll definitely get to them as quickly as I can. If you enjoyed this video series, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.